You've seen the disturbing outbursts, you've heard the accusations. But today, Mitchelle Blair, the mother accused of killing her two children, stuffing their bodies in a freezer, was calm as she asked the court to just send her straight to prison.
Whether or not she would be found competent to stand trial was finally answered today, and 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig was in court.
To my understanding, to get a trial is to get to the truth, right? I'm already saying that I did it. I'm freely giving myself and accepting life in prison. If I'm already giving myself to you like, hey, I did this, what's the problem?
Hard to imagine a mother wanting to plead guilty to first-degree murder, but that's what Mitchelle Blair, who admitted to police that she meant to kill her 13-year-old daughter, Stoney, and claims she accidentally killed 9-year-old Stephen while she was torturing him.
And I'm not going to come back like, oh, I didn't understand my rights. I'm not a coward. You get what I'm saying?
Blair is charged with abusing her 4 children and torturing and killing 2 of them, then putting their malnourished bodies in a freezer. And while 2 doctors have reportedly found Blair competent to stand trial, Judge Kenneth King told Blair that the court cannot accept her guilty plea just yet because one of those doctors' reports has not been turned over to be placed on the record.
I don't have that second report from Dr. Shiner yet, okay?
The forensics one is not good enough?
No, that's why we requested an independent too, okay? Now, my understanding is that his evaluation is complete, but we just don't have it yet.
So what's her state of mind like at this point?
Pretty sound. It's pretty sound state of mind. Unusual, this situation is unusual, but her mind is pretty sound.
These are some very serious charges and
I understand all of them. If y'all
Give me an
seen it,
opportunity now. Give me an opportunity.
I've confessed 3 times. I'm not going to stop saying what I did. You get what I'm saying?
I understand. These are very serious charges with very serious consequences. If you were to plead guilty to a first-degree murder charge, that is life in prison without the possibility of parole.
I know this.
Blair waived her right to a preliminary exam today, and when she returns to court next week Friday and that second doctor evaluation is officially on the record, she's expected to plead guilty to premeditated murder. She claims Stoney and Stephen were harming her youngest child. Keep in mind, she never reported any such claims to police.
I'm happily saying life in prison. If you had a death penalty, I would take that. I don't care. That's my baby, period. I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not changing anything. I don't need the week to think about it.
In Detroit, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News.
Well, joining us now is Dr. Gerald Shiner, Chief of Psychiatry at Sinai Grace Hospital in Detroit and in private practice, of course, in Birmingham. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, she sounds so angry, and she doesn't sound like she's sorry at all for killing her kids, saying, put me in jail for life.
Well, there's lots of ways of being sorry, and put me in jail for life and punish me is one way of expressing it without coming out and saying it. And we know that any mother who harms her child has to have some remorse, whether she's delusional, angry, whether she's been abused herself and is taking it out on the child. There's always some remorse deep down inside, and being asked to be punished and saying, I'm telling you I did it, is one way to express that.
And Dr. Shiner, we've been so curious about her tone because it almost seems like she's justified like in these murders of her children. And that's about as calm as she sounded. I can't say it any more times. Please put me in jail.
Well, we've seen the angry side with the outbursts and screaming and yelling and all the hostility at other people. But very often when someone's been abused sexually and then they get the idea that someone else is doing that to another child, they get angry and they take all the rage that they had towards the person who abused them and they take it out on the other perpetrator, the other abuser, and sometimes that's the justification. And if you're getting even for something, if you feel you're protecting someone, then you might not be so sorrowful, you might not be so regretful, and you might not show remorse, obviously. The frightening thing is twofold. One is when we've seen these outbursts, it's hard to know how someone can be that angry and that full of rage and contain it. The second thing is that hundreds, thousands of women who have been sexually abused. That's sadly a part of life, and those boundary violations occur over and over again, but not everyone acts out, and not everyone kills, and not everyone beats and torments, so it doesn't always happen, and we don't know what goes wrong in one situation, what goes less wrong in another.
How do you determine, though, there's no, well, I know you're a psychiatrist, but how do you determine that a person is not mentally ill, especially when everyone hears that she put those babies in a freezer and then kept them there and then kept her kids at home.
Well, that's horrific, and there's mentally ill for a psychiatrist as a medical question, and there's certainly a disturbance. Anyone who could hurt their own child has some sort of disturbance and some sort of issue, and I can tell you the 5 reasons that parents kill children, but we're talking about legal insanity, and it has to be so mentally ill that you don't know what you're doing is wrong, or so mentally ill that you have no capacity to control yourself. And that's a high threshold, especially in the state of Michigan, and the plaintiffs have that burden of proof. They have to prove that someone was mentally ill, and when someone says they're not and insists they're not in open court, it's hard to do that.
She was found competent, meaning she was in her right mind, and she's going to stand trial.
Well, competent means that you understand the charges pending against you, and competent means that you know what a judge does, you know why the jury is there, you know what the punishment is, you know how to help your attorney, and that's a little higher threshold actually, and that's something that she didn't contest, and based on what I saw, her attorney did not seem to advise the court that that was likely a problem.
So I understand. Dr. Shiner, thank you so much for being here. As always, we appreciate your expertise.
Thank you, Karen.
All right. Thank you,
Linda?
doctor.
Thank you.